the best example I can give of covenant is when Moses was needing help. He was trying to pastor these 3 million people, or whoever knows how many it was. It was a lot of folk. And he was, having to basically work out all their problems, and he was getting pretty wiped out. And so his wise father-in-law came and said, you need to get help. And so he got 70 other men, and God said, I'm going to put the same spirit that is on you, Moses, I'm going to put it on them. It's in Exodus. And so he went, and God did that. He took the spirit, the mantle that was on Moses for pastoring, and he put it on all the 70 guys. Now, when they showed up to receive that mantle, they started prophesying. They had not done that before. Well, 2 of them didn't get the memo. They were in camp doing whatever, and only 68 showed up for the mantling. But yet the same 2 guys that didn't show up, they had agreed that they were a part of the covenant. They just weren't there at the particular time. And so they started prophesying too in the camp, and they weren't where they were supposed to be, but because they were in covenant, they got what covenant ordered. And so that's what I see covenant as. When you enter covenant, when one person's blessed, everybody gets blessed. It's like we were, maybe we covenanted, again, not that we did, but to me, I felt like we were all excited that people were being prophesied to, a little bit ago. We were just like, yeah, this is awesome. And that's kind of like covenant. We were all receiving something because certain people were being blessed. And so that's where I see covenant. When you join that place and you formally do it, just like a marriage, there's something that gets deposited into your life that doesn't happen if you just show up as individuals. Not that you're not a Christian, that's not what I'm saying. But there's something that God puts over that whole body that you are a recipient of, that you ordinarily wouldn't receive as quickly or as fast if you weren't in covenant.
We experienced this when we first joined Dove Christian Fellowship International. We had visited them, and this is just one example. I know there's many fine ministries and networks out there. But we had watched them for a while, and we had seen the leadership team. And we saw from a distance, as we got to know them, just the great blessing, long-term relationships. We saw so much of the gifts of the Spirit at work. We heard some of the words that had been spoken over them as a ministry, and we were just so excited when we decided to partner and join with that church. That was a covenant relationship, and I'll never forget the time when they prayed and laid hands on us. They said, our overseer said, every prophetic word and promise that Dove has received is now yours. And that just really impacted me. I immediately felt accepted, loved, I belonged, and we had access to everything that they had been promised and prophesied over, and we've seen that happen. There's also protection in that. We've seen that in our body, that when you are, there's a safety and a protection in the body of Christ. And we've seen that those that don't join, they encounter much more spiritual warfare. They are taken out much more quickly. We've seen it. We've observed the pattern.